I would now like to welcome you once again to the lecture series, The Critical Gaze, Reflections on Global Crises in Portuguese Language Comics at the University of Cologne. My name is Yannick Scholz. I'm a research assistant at the Portuguese Brazilian Institute here at the University of Cologne. And I'm pleased to introduce today's guest, João Miguel Lamedas. João Miguel Lamedas has a master's degree in history of art, but has been working with comics for more than 20 years in several functions as a professor, critic, editorial advisor, owner of a comic book shop, Dr. Cartoon in Coimbra, writer, and as a publisher. He has also curated more than a dozen exhibitions on comics to the main Portuguese comic events. He has been working as an editorial advisor for the Devir editions and as a comic book translator for several publishing houses. He regularly writes about comics in the newspaper O Público, which is one of the most known and biggest newspapers in Portugal, in the magazine Bang, and on his blog Por Punhado de Imagens, a fistful of images, maybe you can translate it like this. Of his several functions and experiences, I just like to mention some or a few. He's a specialist of high merit in the area of comics and illustration and was the coordinating teacher of the bachelor's degree of comics and the master's degree of illustration of the Escola Superior Artística in Guimarães in Portugal between 2011 and 2019. He was a member of the jury of the Direção Geral do Livro, dos Arquivos e das Bibliotecas, responsible for the award of the Ministry of Culture's Literary Creation Scholarships for 2002 and 2020. He has been the programmer, producer, and coordinator of the Coimbra Comic Book Festival since 2017, having also curated and written text for exhibitions in France, Spain, and Portugal. Since 2017, he has been the specialist responsible for the selection of comics for the National Plano de Cultura, the plan of culture of the Ministry of Education, which you already mentioned last week, if you remember. Last but not least, he has published the books Crossroads and The Inner Revolution with João Ramalho Santos and José Carlos Fernandes, Eden 2.0, again with João Ramalho Santos and Luis Louro, and The Secrets of Lulé with André Caetano and João Ramalho Santos mais uma vez, once again. Today, João Miguel Lamedas will provide us with an introduction into the state of the art of the current comics market in Portugal, and we are very pleased, dear João Miguel, to benefit from your truly outstanding expertise on Portuguese comics.
Hello. I hope the sound is okay and that you see me well, because right now I don't have image, only I see only my PowerPoint. I lose the image of Zoom, but I suppose that you are seeing the presentation, which is the most important.
Not yet, no, the screen sharing stopped. I don't know why, but yeah, launch it again, Joe.
But it's okay that I continue, or?
We don't see your presentation. It stopped. I don't know why, but you should start the screen sharing again.
Okay. And now?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Okay, sorry for the technical problems. I will talk a little about the situation of the Portuguese comics market. And to begin, one thing that is important to say is that it's almost impossible to live professionally from comics in Portugal right now. A few years ago, with the more newspapers and with newspapers publishing comics, that was possible. But right now, most of the the newspapers don't publish comics, and the ones they publish, they pay much less than they paid before. So the only people that could survive doing comics is because they do other things, normally related to this area, like illustration, editorial illustration, illustration for children, publicity, storyboarding, this kind of activities. Or they have professions that have little to do with comics and do the comics especially in his free time, or they are working to a foreign market. They work directly to a foreign market. There's a number of authors right now that are working directly to the American market, to publishing houses like Marvel, DC, Image, and so on, and also to other authors that are working to the French market. In most of this case of these authors, his work is published is not published yet in Portugal, so they publish in the United States, but in most cases there are not Portuguese translations of his work, with a few exceptions. So I will talk about you, especially of the heroes that try to survive doing comics and that have some high profile, not only in Portugal but also outside Portugal, which work has been translated to other languages. One of our main published authors is José Carlos Fernandes, but he's an author that completely quit publishing comics, but his work is still being published in Portugal and abroad. But José Carlos Fernandes, he begins as an environmental engineer at a natural reservation in Portugal, and he did comics in his free time. When the Ministry of Culture in Portugal created the literary creations scholarships, he won one literary scholarship, and he dedicated to comics at full time. And when the scholarship ended, he continued like that until a day that he had a problem with his publishing house, and he decided to stop. And right now he writes about jazz, classic musical, and literature for a different number of sites and literary reviews in Portugal. So he's not active, but his work is still being published. This double spread is from a comic he did to an organization from prevention of the alcoholic consumption. So it was a state organization that used comics to promote to alert to the dangers of the consumption of alcoholic beverages. And this is one of the main ways of a Portuguese author is doing his life, is doing also work, not only personal work, but also some work for hire to institutions like that, to the city halls, this kind of stuff. And José Carlos did some of this stuff. But his last book, Mar d'Aral, here you could see the Polish edition and the Spanish edition, was only published in Portugal 2 years ago. It's a book that was ready to be published almost 15 years ago, but with this dispute with the publisher, the book was in the drawers, and only now was published, and he won the main prizes in Portugal in Amadora Comics Festival, and has been translated to French, Spanish, Polish, and I think it's so. Another example of a comic made which was a command for an institution, in this case the Centro de Documentação 25 de Abril. It was an institution which is connected with the Centro de Estudos Sociais of Coimbra, from where Julia that spoke last week worked. And it explains the revolution of the 25 April that put an end to the dictatorship in Portugal in 1974. And I am one of the writers of the story. His main work, the Pior Banda do Mundo, the worst band in the world, is been translated to a lot of in a lot of countries. It is published in France, in Spain, in Poland. In the right, there's the Basque edition. There's also in Spain, they had an edition in Portuguese, another one, no, in Spanish, another one in Basque. So, and I think it's also an Italian edition. It's one of the main titles in terms of international knowledge by the foreign public. And José Carlos Fernandes was the only Portuguese author that had one individual exhibition at the Centre Belge de la BD, the Comics Book Museum of Belgium. It's in Brussels, and in the Museum of Angoulême in France, where the main European Comics Festival has place. His last individual book, Agência de Viagens Lemming, Lemming Travel Agency. It was published as comic strips in a newspaper during the holidays, and then was collected in one book that was published first in Spain and in Portugal only 4 years after his publication in Spain, because of his problems with his publishing house that led him to leave comics. Another author important but is not very present at the moment is Miguel Rocha. Here you see the cover of a publication that was published by Biblioteca de Lisboa. Biblioteca de Lisboa was the comics library of the City Hall of Lisbon, and was an institution that promote a lot comics. They finance publications, and they also had a comics festival in Lisbon during a few years. And Miguel Rocha was one of the authors that used this opportunity to doing comics. Different is 2 examples of his work. And his most famous book, it is a biography of Salazar. Salazar is the dictator that was responsible for the government of Portugal during more than 40 years. His regime was put down with the revolution of 1974, the 25 April Revolution, and his biography is been published in Portugal and also in Poland. Right now, Miguel Rocha doesn't work mainly at comics. He works with a company of a theater company. He does sets for theater, and also works in design for the city hall where he lives. But last year he won a literary creation scholarship and is back to comics with a book that is not yet been published. João Fazenda was another author, an important author, that gave up comics because he preferred to work in illustration. Right now he works mainly in illustration for Portuguese magazines and also for foreign, especially English publications, and also publicity. This kind of stuff is right now it does only mostly editorial illustration and cards and this kind of stuff to different institutions. So he lives mainly of the illustration and left the comics for the illustration market. Nuno Saraiva, it's another example of an author that's still living of his art, but because he does comics, he does illustration for the press, editorial illustration, does also mural paintings, and so he does a lot of things, including comics. His main series, Filosofia de Ponta, was published during 5 or 6 years in an important newspaper in Portugal, O Independente. And after that, it was collected in various books. Here you see other stories that he did also first in newspapers, then were collected in other books. And in the left page, at the end of the left page, you see the author drawing a mural painting in Lisbon. Another book that he published was History of Fado, the Portuguese traditional song, that is also published in Poland. And you have here 2 examples of his work. This was for the magazine of the newspaper Public. This one, it was for a big mural painting at Parque Mayer in Lisbon. Another example of his work in other areas. This guy, in this case, it's an illustration and design for the DVD of a documentary about the tuna fishing and the tuna preserve that is very popular in Portugal, and a cover of the Público magazine that is made by him. Público, at the time of the Salão Lisboa, when the inauguration day of the Salão Lisboa, they did a cover only with comics, and all the illustrations in the interior of the newspaper were done by illustrators and comic artists. A little like they do in France with Libération in the day of the opening of the Angoulême Comics Festival. Here you see Nuno Saraiva in front of one of his mural paintings. This one tells the story of Lisbon and is in the main square of Lisbon. Another of his mural paintings, this one is about the 100th anniversary of Nelson Mandela. Another author who is also very active today, but during like 10 years, he retired completely of comics and dedicated to photography. He's also a professional photographer and does photography for publicity, but he returns 5 years ago at the comics market in Portugal, and he has been very active. Here's the covers of one of the books that marked his return, and this book Watchers has a peculiarity. It's the same book, but with two different endings. So if you pick the book with the red title, the last chapter is different from the book with the white title. So there's like the same story, but with two different endings. A marketing strategy to some people buy two books instead of only one. At the right, you have his most known character, O Corvo, the Crow. It's like a Portuguese superhero, and a collection of his ancient stories, Black Universe, with José Simões, a writer. Recently, he reprinted his one of his first books, Alice, that did 25 years in 2020, and he published in three different versions. Special edition, deluxe with a lot of extras, a normal edition, and less luxury edition with some extras and a different cover. But it's also a strategy of some of the publishing houses to rentabilize a book with different kind of editions for the same book. And Luis Louro is working very well this kind of angle. Rui Lacas is also an author that dedicates most of this time to work in storyboards for publicity. But he has a very interesting work, and one of his books, Merci Patron, was published directly in France, and only a few years later was published in Portugal by Portuguese main publishing house. As you could see, there's a lot of Portuguese books that have been translated to Poland. The reason is more than one. For instance, there are a tight collaboration between the Łódź or Lodz Comics Festival in Poland and the Amadora Comics Festival, that is the main comics festival of Portugal. And they promote the exhibitions and the travel of the Polish authors to Portugal and the Portuguese authors to Poland. And even this project, City Stories, that originate a book, they put together Portuguese artists with Polish writers, or the opposite, Portuguese writers with Polish artists. So it's one of the factors that helps to explain the importance of the Portuguese comics in the Polish market. That, and also the circumstance that there's a important group of studies important group of Portuguese studies in Warsaw, in the Warsaw University, and his main responsible is also a big comics fan. So he translated a lot of comics using his also his students from the PhD on doctor and translation as translators of the books, but he also has connections with the publishing houses in Poland, so they publish a lot of Portuguese authors. And also because the Portuguese government has a grant to support the translation of Portuguese authors abroad. That is for literature and also for comics, and some publishing houses, they profit that incentive. One of the authors that collaborate with the Polish market is Filipe Andrade. Here we see at the left his first series in the Portuguese market, and original page for a story that he did for the City Stories, the Lord's book. And here's some of his work for the American market. He works now mostly with Marvel, and also does animation and publicity and this kind of stuff, but mostly in foreign to the American market and to Marvel. André Lima Araújo is also another author that published most of his work in United States. André Lima Araújo is an architect has a formation as an architect, and he worked as an architect until 2008, 2010, with the crisis in Portugal. He didn't have much work to do as an architect, so he tried to turn himself in a comics artist. He drew before, but just for fun. He tried. He decided, I will try during a year, and if the things work well, I will continue with comics. If not, I will return to architecture. The things worked very well, and right now is working to Marvel, to DC, to Image. All his work is mostly to Portuguese, to American publishing houses. Right now he's working in a secret project with DC, with Brian Michael Bendis. And of the books he did to the American market, only this one, Man Plus, is published in Portugal. But he's a very busy guy, and he's doing a lot of stuff to the United States, and is working even with Netflix in doing concept design to a secret project that he isn't allowed to talk yet. A cover that he did to Avengers magazine in the United States, and the back cover of the Portuguese and of the Polish edition of Man Plus. One of his recent work to the American market, the annual Silver Surfer. Jorge Coelho is also another author that works mainly to the American market. This is a page, a double spread from his book Polarity for the American market, and here a page of a book that he did to the Italian market. It's a version of the Odyssey by Homer, and the edition is thrilling. It's in English, in Italian, and in French. More examples of his work to the American market, and one of his recent works to the American market, a RoboCop mini-series, where he put some Portuguese references like Easter eggs. For instance, in the left page, the second square at the end of the page, the bottle that the guy has in his hand has the symbol of Benfica, one of the main Portuguese football teams. So it's like an Easter egg for the Portuguese fans. Joana Afonso is also an important author. Joana Afonso is a professor at the School of Fine Arts in Lisbon. So his professional activity is to teach comics and illustration. And but he does a lot of comics in every time he can. This is one of these books that she illustrated, O Baile, The Ball, and at left the Portuguese edition, at right the Polish edition. A page of a story that he did to American series by Image, and here a comic that she wrote, it's called Let Me In, Deixe-me Entrar, that she wrote and illustrated herself. Here two comic books of Living Will, a series written by André Oliveira and illustrated by Joana Afonso. And they had a strategy that is to publish the book is a Portuguese book, but it's published in English, so they could sell it more easily in the foreign markets. That's also a strategy that some authors use. Ricardo Cabral is also an author that does comics and also illustration. He works a lot with editorial illustration to magazines and also for publicity, but he does also comics. Here an illustration that represents the Lisbon studio. Lisbon studio, it's a place. But it became more than a place. It's like a studio where a lot of different artists they divide a space, a working space, in the center of Lisbon. But there's most of the most important Portuguese authors and artists. They passed by the Lisbon studio, and they also created a magazine to show the work of the Lisbon studio, but I'll talk about this later. Another author, Osvaldo Medina, he works mainly in animation. He's a professional animator and also does comics. Two examples of his work in comics: A Fórmula da Felicidade and Super Pig, published by Kingpin Books. And his most important work, Kong the King. It's kind of retelling of the King Kong story, but with this big savage instead of a monkey. And it's a more than 100 pages story without any dialogue. So the book is also published in English and in Poland. In this case, we can't talk in translation because the book is a silent book. Marco Mendes is an author that has a different approach to comics. His comics are mostly autobiographical, and he published in his blog and also in newspapers. Some of his stories have no words, like this one. And during almost a year, he published in Jornal de Notícias, mainly each day he published a page like that, normally with text. Marta Taves is another woman that is working in comics. He does also illustration and publicity, this kind of stuff. This is his most important book, Os Regressos. Right now, Marta is working also. He won a scholarship of the Literary Creation Scholarship and is working in another book with Pedro Moura also. Here, an illustration that she did to an exhibition about the American heroes in Lisbon, and you see the Peanuts in Lisbon, so in the trainway, the 28th trainway, the very touristical trainway in Lisbon. And a page from the Regressos is his book. Two other authors, Joana Mose Simão e Rita Alfaiate, an example of the artists that work also in comics. Joana is also a teacher at the School of Fine Arts, and Rita does comics in his free times. She works in IKEA, so not a very artistic profession. Fabio Veras is an author, an illustrator that we talked about also last week because of his Os Filhos do Rato, The Sons of the Rat. Last week, someone showed the cover of the English edition. Here you see the cover of the Polish edition, and on the left this first work in comics, Jardim dos Espectros. Fabio Veras is very young. He has 22 years old, and he's already these 2 books, and he's working a lot in comics, and there are other interesting things of him to come. 2 pages from the Os Filhos do Rato. And here the Lisbon studio that I told you a few minutes ago, which is a space of work for Portuguese artists, but also they publish a magazine. They promote exhibitions of his work. Here the invitation to an exhibition of the authors from Lisbon studio at Museu Bordal Pinheiro. Rafael Bordal Pinheiro, one of the main caricaturists and comics author of the 19th century in Portugal. It was like the first comic artist in Portugal, the inventor of the comics in Portugal, and he has a museum dedicated to his work and also to illustration and comics in Lisbon. And this was the illustration for an exhibition of the Lisbon studio authors, in which they reinterpret the work of Rafael Bordal Pinheiro. The 3 numbers of the magazine, the Lisbon Studio Mega, the TLS series, with work, short stories for some of the daughters there are at the Lisbon studio at the time. It was a series of 4 books. The last book was published in 2019. Here you have the Portuguese edition of the first volume, and an anthology that was published in 2019 in Poland, where for the Comics Lots Festival, where they had also an exhibition. Another example of an author that has an important work and knew how to publish outside Portugal, and it's a few that could live of comics if you wanted, but he doesn't live only of the comics because he's also a musician, he's a cinema director, does a lot of stuff. He's a composer, so he's Filipe Melo. And he's this main series, comic series, Adventures of Dog Mendonça and Pizza Boy. It was a fantastic series inspired by the movies of the 80s and also by comics like Hellboy and Dylan Dog, and that is published also in United. There's 4 books in Portugal, and also 4 books in the United States, where it's published by Dark Horse. His other books, Os Vampiros, that was one of the themes of the Julia's presentation last week. Here you have the French edition, and his book Comer Beber. Here you have also the cover from the French edition. One of the stories of the Comer Beber book, Sleepwalk, was adapted at a short film, and it's available at YouTube. It's a very good film, yeah, good movie. For his last book, Felipe Melo find an interesting way of promoting the book and receive money in advance for the book. It was he did a pre-sales where you could buy the book with an original page of art by Juan Cavia, and they did it with they put 100 pages for sale, and they sold it in 2 or 4 days. It was a big success. It was important for Philippe to have an advance in the money of the book, and the book is, we have here 2 pages. The book is selling very, very well. It was published in the end of September this year, and is already in the second print of 3,000 copies each print. And is also the book is not published yet in other countries, but they have the rights sold to United States by Top Shelf, Spain by Norma, France by Paquet, and also Poland. So it's going to be a great diffusion. An important artist that followed a different strategy was Zé Burnet. Zé Burnet decided to self-publish his work. His work is done in English initially, and he self-printed editions of the chapters of his book, Andromeda, and they sell it, and he sell it in the conventions like Angoulême, Thought Bubble in Leeds, and also from his website. Here you have an example of his work. It's very detailed and very interesting, his work. And more pages of his work. And he decided to do a crowdfunding for his book. His main goal was 10,000 euros, which and they have 4 stretch goals, and he reached all the stretch goals. So it was a success. Here you have the edition for the crowdfunding. Beside these comics, Zé Burnet does other stuff like a cover to Ricky Marty magazine, and design for a T-shirt. He also does covers for heavy metal bands and stuff like that. Is very interested for this kind of stuff. Paulo Monteiro it's our most published author abroad, but he has a very little production. In 10 years, he did only 2 books, and he has a third one that is in the coming. But yes, this is his second book, Mariana. And but his first book, O Amor Infinito Que Te Tenho, The Endless Love That I Have For You, has been translated in 8 countries. It was sold in 15 different countries, and here we have some of the editions of different editions for different countries. Normally, it does different covers for each edition. In Portugal, this book is fourth printing. In France and Spain is in his second printing. But it's published in Romania, Spain, Serbia, Brazil, France, in a lot of different countries. Manuel Morgado is one of the two authors that works directly to the French market. He's also an illustrator. He does commercial illustration, editorial illustration, but his work in comics right now is mainly for the French market. This is a story he did for the Portuguese market. That was also published in Polish and in English. And his work to the French market, a spin-off of main series from Dargaud, Les Arcans de la Lune Noire, The Mysteries of the Black Moon, and here's a page of one of the books that you draw to this series. He already finished the second volume, but is not yet published in Portuguese. In France, it was delayed. Jorge Miguel is also an author that published. He began publishing in Portugal. He did illustrations for scholar books or school books, and also he did two comics in Portuguese. Camões, a biography of the Portuguese poet Luís Vaz de Camões, in O Fado Ilustrado, the illustrated Fado, story of the Fado and the creation of the important painting by José Malhoa that is called precisely O Fado. Since 2012, he works exclusively for the French market, for Les Humanoides Associés, and is published in the United States by the American branch of Les Humanoides, print house called Humanoids. And he has done 7 or 8 books to the French market, and the first of his books that is being published in Portugal is Shanghai Dream, that will come out in Portuguese edition probably next week, and it comes with a ex libris signing number by the author to the first people who bought the book. And I lost image, but my presentation was finished, so no problem. I don't know if you hear me, but the presentation is finished. I don't know if you want to, if anyone has some questions to put. Now it's the time.
Thank you very much for this overview. And yes, if there are questions, feel free to ask them. Please use the chat to inform us about your question. And to ask a question, please activate your microphone and your video.
And sorry for the technical problems, but it's complicated.
maybe while we are waiting for questions, I can ask the first question.
Okay.
You mentioned already two female comic artists, Joana Afonso and Martha Davis. And are there only the two of them, or do you know of any other female Portuguese comic
No,
artists?
there are more female artists. I also refer to other ones, but much briefly, Rita Alfaiate and Joana Simão Mozzi.
Okay. And another question, sorry.
But them broad, so why I talked more about Joana Afonso and Marta Davis.
Another question, which is kind of similar. I was wondering if there are any Afro-Portuguese comic artists or artists talking about the African connections from Portugal or experiences in Angola and Mozambique, or experiences in Portugal as a Black person, for example. Do you know any of these?
Osvaldo Medina is Black, and he is born in Angola, but he lives in Portugal. And there's also a small magazine, a fanzine that's called BDLP, that reunites work from Portugal, Angola, Mozambique, Cabo Verde, Brazil, authors from the Portuguese Lusophony. But in the most of African-speaking countries, there's not an industry, a comics industry. We have a few authors in Angola, especially a studio, Lindomar Studio, who does comics for kids, kind of like Monica by Mauricio de Souza, this kind of style, but are the
So your connection is not working right now.
You know better. No.
So the sound is not working. Maybe you can repeat.
No, I have the indication that is active.
No, it's still very.
You don't hear my sound now?
Now it's better, yeah. Now I can hear you.
Okay. So do you listen to my answer or no?
Yeah, absolutely. But I was just wondering about maybe the experiences of the Black, let's say, diaspora in Portugal, if there are any stories talking about being Black in Portugal.
Not that I know, but.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Leah, we have a question from Leah.
There's.
Hello. Thank you for the presentation, João Lamelas. Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Oh, right.
I hear you and I see you.
Could you repeat, please, the name of Osvaldo you mentioned when Yannick asked for a Black Portuguese author? I didn't
Osvaldo Medina.
The second name?
Medina.
Medina. Okay. Thanks.
M-E-D-I-N-A.
All right.
He's mostly an animator. He works mostly in animation, but he also have done a few comic books.
Then I wanted to add, recently I bought lots of books by Polvo Editora.
Yeah.
And so I can show Mosi, you mentioned now.
Yeah.
This is a nice story of two schoolgirls, friendship and problems. It's quite a small book.
Yeah.
So the typical thing German publishing houses will say to me when I suggest this for translation, it is too small. Oh, yeah. This could be a problem. Or con Martha Davis, Os Regressos, O Estilo. Sometimes color can be a problem. Sometimes there will be a lack of color, and I don't know. It's complicated. Here I have the cover of Zana by Joana Afonso. No? And do you know Sofia Neto? Cicatriz é uma obra dela. Also hier gibt es noch ein Buch. Here's one more female author I can show.
It's also his first book. She's preparing a second one. He also won the literary scholarship. So she's working on another book.
And I found super interesting this connection with the Polish comic scene. And there's something parallel with Brazilian comics. I know lots of Brazilian historias em quadrinhos published in Poland. And I'm really I've got envy because there seems to be a connection, fluent, really lots of titles. I also would love to bring here from Brazilian authors also are being published in Poland, and it's really a flourishing scene, and they've got a lot of interest and good connections. Or you mentioned a kind of cooperation, didn't you, between Portugal?
Between Poland
That's
and
important.
Some Brazilian authors they arrive in Poland via Portugal because Polvo publishes a lot of Brazilian authors, and they have good connection with the publishing houses, Polish publishing houses like Timoth that publish most of the Portuguese authors. And Timoth also published André Diniz, that is a Brazilian author that now lives in Portugal. He lives in Lisbon. Marcelo Quintanilha. There's a few authors that are so published in Portugal and in Poland, and sometimes they do co-printings. The Portuguese edition is printed at the same time as the Portuguese edition in Poland. There's a lot of Portuguese books that are printed in Poland because they have good prices that are they're better than the price of the Portuguese printing houses.
Oh, that's quite interesting. Yeah. And there's also a smaller publishing house in Poland called Mandioca.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think is the one who published André Diniz. At least the Morro da Favela, I think it was published by Mandioca.
It's curious. Nice.
We have a question from Bettina.
I can't hear.
I can't hear you, Bettina. You have to activate your sound.
Sorry. Can you hear me now? Yes.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you for your presentation. It's quite interesting to see so many different authors that we don't have mainly contact with them. And I was quite wondering about the themes that use os temas, because it looks quite international, the thematics. And I was wondering if there are main themes or political themes and some things like that. And I was also wondering because you mentioned that many of the authors work internationally in USA and France, and why not in Portugal?
Okay, let's go by parts. The themes. you have different, lots of different teams. You have authors that work autobiographical stuff. That's also a tendency. There's a lot of people that works with fiction, like fantasy, this kind of stuff. There's also authors that work the history of Portugal, especially the colonial war and this kind of stuff that marked the people. And there's a diversity of themes: slice of life, autobiographical, political, humoristical, adventure. There's not specializations, more or less. It's a small market, and as I said, it's impossible for an author that to live publishing only for Portugal. And the reason is simple. The main printing run of the Portuguese comics vary between 500 and 2,000. So if you take 1 year to do a book, the money that you receive as royalties is not enough for
Once again, your sound is not working as well. You're frozen. The picture as well. Oh, okay. Now we lost João. Oh, there you are. The sound was not working. Maybe you can repeat the answer, João, and activate your sound.
It's working now? Okay. Sorry, Bettina. I don't know if you heard anything that I said.
The last part, I lost the last part.
The last part about why the authors doesn't work only for the Portuguese market.
Yes. Yes.
Because the print runs in Portugal are very small. The main print runs are between 500 . You don't.
João, the connection is really unstable. You have gone. We lost you once again. Okay. I think he left the room. Maybe he's coming back. Yes. Okay.
Maybe it will work better if he switches the video off.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well. Thank you for the, for the hint. João, maybe you can turn off your video, then maybe it's more stable than before. It's not that nice, but then at least we can hear you.
Hello?
Yep.
Yeah, I think I have some connection problems. I don't know.
Yes, maybe if you switch off the video,
but
that's not so nice, but then at least maybe the connection is more stable and we can hear your answer.
Switch what?
The video, if you turn off the video.
Oh, okay.
It's not that nice, but maybe there is less.
Oh, do I do that?
I can do that. I can do that. Just a second. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, maybe it's more stable.
Okay. But I think I don't have sound. No.
You were just
You hear
talking.
me?
Yeah, you were just talking about the income on the basis of publishing books.
Yeah. To cut the story short, if you publish only in Portugal, the income that you have, it's not enough to live. So you have to publish in the different markets. That's it. I don't know if you are listening to me.
Yes. Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we all heard what you said. Are there any other questions? Don't be shy. Feel free to ask anything in the chat or directly.
I would like to ask about a stylish feature. I think it's quite obvious that there's lots of kind of caricaturesque drawing of humans, and many of the authors you presented, you showed us, and stereotypes and like not funny but caricaturesque, I would say. And can you tell us about this? Is there a school or something? They are oriented by some common kind of origin, or what about this stylish feature, stylistic?
I don't have an explanation, but I think one of the main reasons could be that influence of the French comics by Tintin, Asterix, and that were very popular in Portugal. So this kind of style Linkler, it's also that influenced a lot of authors. I think could be that. But it must have to do with the influence of the French comics that was very strong in Portugal until a few years ago, and becoming more influent. I think in Mosey you have a little influence of the manga also, but I think it's most that. But for me, that's not a clearly a Portuguese style of doing comics. There's different authors with different styles. Probably the influence of most of them came from the French comics and Linkler, and that has to do with that.
And is there any cooperation? Not, but yes, some looking to the neighbor country, Spain, for example, or vice versa, as Spanish authors gazing at Portugal and exchanging and participating in festivals, something like that, I imagine. Yeah. So
but
close.
The Spanish market is much more developed than the Portuguese one. The Spanish market is a strong market. They have lots of authors that work also to the comics, to the Americans and the French, but they have also a very good tradition of graphic novels. In Portugal, there's a lot of Spanish authors that have been published especially in the collection with the Público magazine, Público newspaper. They have a collection of graphic novels where a lot of Spanish authors have been published. And there's some cooperation, but you have a few authors, Portuguese authors being published in Spain, like Felipe Melo, José Carlos Fernandes, Jorge Miguel and others, but you don't have so much interest from the Spanish for the Portuguese comics than vice versa. But Spain is a very good market, and that could live of his own.
We have one more question, Amadeo.
Hey, hello, good afternoon. Well, thank you for your presentation, João. And I was wondering two things. First, well, what you described is pretty similar in terms of the difficulty of making a living with comics. It's pretty similar to the Argentinian market. And I wanted to ask you if how many publishing houses are there in Portugal that regularly publish comics? And on average, how many books are published in a year? And then I wanted to ask you if there are comic strips in the newspapers that are made by some of these artists, by other artists, and if that is like another field that it's separate from the comics field, or how does it work? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, the situation in Portugal, it's might be not very different from Argentina. Probably a little better because, as I know from Argentina, most of the Argentinian artists are working abroad. The artist that works with Felipe Melo is an Argentinian, Juan Cavia, but his books are published in Portugal, in France, in the United States, the books he did with Felipe Melo, but not in Argentina. In Argentina, he works as a set director, he works in cinema, so he's not published at all in his country. In Portugal, you have like 10 to 12 publishing houses that publish comics with regularity. That includes 3 or 4 that are main publishing houses that publish books, literature, all kind of books, including comics. And then you have small publishing houses dedicated mostly to comics. We have 3 publishing houses that published a lot of Portuguese authors. There are Povo, that publish especially Portuguese and Brazilian authors. Escorpião Azul, Blue Scorpio, that's a small company that publish almost Portuguese authors. And Aceita, that is a publishing house that I'm one of the members that also publish American comics, Italian comics, French comics, but also some Portuguese authors. I think that's more or less the kind of publications, number of titles by year in general. It's like between 100 and 300, but that includes that includes the Portuguese books, the French books, the American books, the Italian books, all this stuff. At the newspapers right now, there are not any author that is publishing comic strips. You have Nuno Saraiva that publishes cartoons at Público, and you had Marco Mendes that published during a year at Jornal de Notícias his cartoons too, but most of the, but this is a market that right now it's mostly non-existent. And you have also a cartoonist, a very known cartoonist. He does only cartoons and comic strips, not comic books. That is Luis Afonso, that published daily in Público. He published in Bola, that is a sports magazine. He published in 4 or 5 different newspapers, but is the only case that I know at the moment. Even the strips, the foreign comic strips, you have Calvin and Hobbes, and not much more. It's a tradition that it's
Thank you very much. That was very interesting to see that there is almost not many authors working in newspapers and on graphic humor. That's interesting to see. Thank you.
I don't have a question, but a comment. I was really shocked that you talked about so many translations and cooperations with Romania, with Poland, with Spain, with France, with Basque countries, and so on. But you never mentioned Germany, so actually there is no connection at all between the Portuguese comic market and the German comic market, or is it just an impression? Am I mistaken? Oh, okay. He escaped from the question. But I think that's the situation, isn't it? It's what you said, Leah, as well, that it's really hard to
yes
gain.
Yes, unfortunately, and it's absolutely a pity, because next year, well, we don't know if there will be Leipzig Book Fair, but Portugal is the guest, the country, and it was not possible for me and a couple of colleagues to activate the publishing houses for comics here with works we such as Marta Davis, Os Regressos, or some other works. Yeah, it's quite astonishing and really a pity, but that's the way it is like now, and I think that some of these stylish or stylistic features play a role with this. There are some crime stories from Spain using this style, and they are okay here, but I don't know, there's some, I don't know what tendency doesn't permit to go ahead with this Portugal comic in Germany at this moment, but we are still trying, so this is something for sure.
And Bettina, you raised your hand, but you stopped raising your hand?
No, I clicked wrong, but actually maybe this is a cultural problem. I don't know, maybe the translations or something like this, because it's really strange, because like you said, the drawings are really international. The examples that he showed, it's not regional or something like this, that many other countries cannot understand, and Germany, they could understand something like this.
Sorry, but sorry, Bettina, but I did.
Fugiu o som de novo.
Didn't hear the.
Sorry, I can hear.
João, are you there?
I'll go to try to connect in the iPad. Let's just
But But Bettina, we have publishing houses that are very independent style, and so this is precisely why they exclude this kind of international style. Yeah, so this is quite complicated. And the other, that the few we have which are really big, they absolutely have their criteria for their affluence of works they used to publish. So it's absolutely, yeah, like small chances.
We see also mangas here in Germany are really high in searches. I think when you go to Meierster or a big bookstore and so, you have just mangas. The main Meissens mangas. Huh? I don't know if it's a preference of the market, because manga is not indie. Huh? It's total international also. I don't know I can understand why such these examples that we've seen here, because I don't see why they couldn't be translated to any language actually.
Jean seems to be back. Maybe you can say something as well on the relationship between the Portuguese comic market and Germany. Are there any corporations, or is it really a blank spot? Seems to, oh, okay, no, he's not back yet, but he's coming. I just let him in. Okay. Jean, can you hear us?
Yeah. Now I hear and see you.
Yeah, now we do see you.
Sorry, but my computer was with some problem. I lost the last questions by Bettina and Janeke.
We were just talking about the relationship between the Portuguese comic market and Germany, because you mentioned so many corporations, but none with Germany. Are there any, or do they not exist?
I think we have some German authors published in Portugal, but only a few. Reinhard Kleist, he had a book, The Boxer, is published in Portugal. Mauil, we published his Lucky Luke. And I think it's the only. And I don't know if there's any Portuguese artists that is published in German.
I think there was a.
Oh,
sorry.
I think the problem is that at the contrary that happens with Poland, where there are some people that work with comics, that know publishing houses and that knows Portuguese comics and made the connection. It was the case of the Jakub, the guy from the University of Specialists in Translation. In Germany, probably there are not someone that could do that connection. If you want to do it, you are welcome.
I think Leah is already trying hard to do it, but it's a hard job actually to get the publishers interested. But I think there was a project of the Goethe Institute, if I'm not mistaken, which was a comic exchange between Portuguese and German artists. But that was just one thing, and
yes, with Ricardo Cabral.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a book that sent you went to Germany, and they sent a Portuguese artist, a German artist to, I think, to Porto, and did some sketchbooks and some illustrations.
And there's also a Strapazin magazine on Portugal, But this is from 2003. So there was this incentive to do something with Portugal as a focus and on Portugal comics production. But it's old. I mean, it's 17 years. So it's hard to bridge it.
In this magazine, which authors they were published in this magazine? I can't hear you. You have the sound disconnected.
Okay, I think Lisbon Studio is being presented, and I think it was Katja Alves is the author of the introduction, and she made an interview, and there is Mario Moura, Fernandes José Carlos,
Yeah.
Fernandes Silva, Fernando Helvas,
Yeah.
Ana Cortesão, Pedro Burgos. I love the Collectionneur de Briques, also translated to French. I don't know the title in Portuguese right now. This would be really something which there could be a chance, but it's so hard. Mendes, Corbel.
Corbel is French. He was living at the time. Probably by the time and the authors involved, it was a project made by Biblioteca de Lisboa. Biblioteca de Lisboa, because there were others that were supported by Biblioteca, most of them. Some of them, most of them are not in comics right now, like Ana Cortesão, Fernando Helvas is dead, and José Carlos Fernandes is also out of comics, but he still has work to be published.
But anyway, they show one comic with Guinea-Bissau.
I think it's from Alain Corbel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Corbel and Mendes.
Yeah, he spent a few time in the Guinea-Bissau.
Oh yeah, okay. So it's reportage and not Guinean also.
Graphic reportage. Okay. Okay. Sorry for the technical problems.
We are happy to see you to say goodbye, actually, because the time is over and people already left because I think they have other events to join, the students especially. So I would like to say thank you once again for being with us and sharing.
If any of your students want to have contact with me, you could give them my email.
Okay, good to know. Yes, I will. I will distribute your contact to those who are interested. Yes.
I hope someday we'll have things published in more Portuguese comics published in German.
In Germany, yeah, that would be nice. And next week we will be with Pedro Moura. He's also drawing and writing about comics. We have a talk with him.
It's only writing, it doesn't draw.
He does the writing only?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
He's a writer and there's also a professor of comics. And
yeah,
a lot of...
Exactly. So he will
stop Tinta nos Negros.
Feel free to join next week, and thanks again for being with us. Thanks again for joining to all of you, and have a nice afternoon. Have a nice evening.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.